Well, those Italians really know how to make some amazing amplifiers, don't they? Here's something that I've been asked to do for a while, and I'm finally getting around to do it. I'm going to shoot out the Mezzabarba Trinity and the Redseven Leviathan. Let's get started. Well, thanks for joining me for today's video, guys. I really appreciate you being here, and I've been wanting to do this for a while, and I figured today would be a good day to do it. It's Saturday, and yeah, I got nothing else to do. So anyways, I'm lucky enough to have both the Redseven Leviathan and the Mezzabarba Trinity. I think they're both really, really good amplifiers. And I just want to show you guys how they compare to each other in this video, because some of you might be shopping for one or the other and you want to see how they compare. So here is a picture of the way I have both amps set up right now. And I've owned these amps long enough to know what the best settings are, at least for what I do and what I prefer. And these are absolutely the best settings in my opinion. Now, I'm not going to discuss the clean channel because the Redseven does not have a clean channel. So it's got two different high gain channels on it. And actually, channel 1 on the Redseven actually can do like a lower gain to mid gain and even high gain deal on it. So, I could say the same thing for channel 2 on the Mezzabarba as well. They're kind of similar the way the gain stages are set up, but they do sound a little bit different. And I'm going to show you both of the high gain channels on both these amplifiers without and with the overdrive pedal. So let's start with the pedal off right now. The pedal I'm going to be using today when I do engage it is the Mesa Grid Slammer. Amazing pedal. Settings on it are level all the way up, gain all the way down, and tone knob cranked. Cranking the tone knob on that pedal really wakes it up and makes it sound amazing. So anyways, pedals off. So let's start with channel 2 on the Mezzabarba with the gain boost off, and channel 1 on the Redseven with the hot switch disengaged. So just to give you a quick explanation of what those switches do, the boost switch on the Mezzabarba is a gain boost, and the hot switch on the Redseven is also a gain stage boost. And they're both disengaged now, so let's hear them both without the overdrive pedal now. All right, so with those settings, I think the Mezzabarba has a little bit of an edgier sound and a little bit more gain, and but I think both of them sound really good. And I know they're going to take a boost really well. So you know what? Let's go ahead and boost both of these amps with these settings right now. Again, it's the lower gain stage in these amps, and just see how they compare now. Yeah, I'd say with these settings, the Mezzabarba has a little bit more attack and a teeny bit more aggression. But I think both amps sound amazing. And I don't prefer one over the other at this point. It just depends on what your taste is. I think both of them are amazing amplifiers. So just so you know, I'm not picking any winners here. I want the winner to be you. I want you to get the information that you came here for, so that you can make the best decision that works for you. So now let's turn the boost pedal back off, and I'm gonna go ahead and engage the higher gain stage on each one of these amps right now. So I'm gonna turn on the boost in the Mezzabarba, which isn't a boost pedal, it's just a boosted gain stage, and the hot switch on the Redseven, which is also a higher gain stage. Boost pedal's off, now let's see what we have. Yeah, I think both of them sound really good. You can definitely tell there's more gain and there's more aggression in both amps. And yeah, they both sound freaking great. Lots of great potential there. I think the Mezzabarba's a little edgier. You know, it's weird because I thought the Mezzabarba would be a little softer on the top end. Let me mess around with the Redseven real quick. Which one am I on? Let's see here. Turn this one off. All right, let's mess around with the Redseven. I just want to see if I can get a little more edge out of it. Maybe I'm not, I don't have my adjustments right. Let's see. I'm going to double check with the presence knob. All right, so I adjusted the presence knob up a little bit on the Redseven, and I think I got a little more edge out of it. It's in the back, and it's just hard to see all this stuff. I think it might have got bumped, but either way, I think it sounds a little more equal to the you know, the Mezzabarba now. Let's hear. Yeah, that definitely did the trick. And I'm not trying to give one amp an advantage over another. I'm just trying to be as fair as I can. Because the last thing I want people to do is make a decision based on me not dialing things in properly. And I'm just showing you a little behind the scenes stuff here. This is what I go through when I dial in amps, and I might as well let part of this be part of the video. So yeah, so I think they're kind of equal now as far as tonality, feel, and edge and aggression and stuff like that. I think they sound really good. So let's engage the boost on with these settings and see what they sound like. All right, with the boost engaged, I think they both sound freaking killer. The Mezzabarba's a little rounder and a little thicker on the top end if you're looking for that, and it's just different mids and stuff like that going on. And with the Redseven, it's a little edgier. It's got a little more of a bite to it, and that's what I'm used to with that amplifier. That's why I was like, man, something's goofy here. I might need to reach back there and turn that presence knob up, and every once in a while stuff gets bumped here. So anyway, so depending on what you're looking for, you're going to prefer one over the other. Again, I think they both sound amazing, and if you got the money, buy them both because they're awesome. I would consider them pretty much equals, you know, but it all comes down to how are you going to use it and what do you need out of an amplifier regarding features and tone and all that stuff. So if you want something that's a little rounder but still has a great sound to it, a little thicker in the top end, then maybe the Mezzabarba would be for you. But if you want something that's a little edgier, then I would say go for the Redseven. But we're not done yet, so let me do another quick riff with channel 2 on the Mezzabarba and channel 1 on the Redseven, boosted, and let's see what we have. Yeah, they both sound great. Yeah, I'd go with either one of these. Well, of course, I own them both, so yeah, that's why I would say that. But I think they're comparing very well. You know, a little softer still with the Mezzabarba, but still, I think it does metal very well. You know, it just depends, like I said, if you want a little more edge or a little more thickness on your top end. It really comes down to that. Plenty of gain on both channels. You can do metal, you can do rock, you can do blues, you can do country, you can do whatever you want with these channels. They're very versatile, especially with the gain stage switch. You know, you can turn the gain down or up with the switch on both of them, and it really does make a big difference. So now let's do a full mix with both of these amplifiers just to see how they compare in a mix. Well, man, both of them performed very well, but what I noticed, especially when doing the mix, was, like I've been saying, but it was even more prominent to me when I was playing these mixes, is that you definitely have that thicker top end on the Mezzabarba, and it still stands out great in a mix. Really, really nice, beefy sounding amp. But the Redseven had more of an edge or some grit to it. Had this texture-y kind of grit to the top end on it, and I thought that sounded really good too. So both of them are very pleasing to the ears and the hands in a full mix or just on isolated tracks as well. I think both of them are winning. I think both of them are freaking amazing amplifiers, and it's nice to have that variety. If you can afford to, you know, get both of them, I would say do it, because they offer something pretty different from each other, but I still think they're equally as good. And just so you know, like with the Mezzabarba, on the back you have a negative feedback knob, and if you want more edge with it, you can get that, but if you go too far with it, it can get a little quirky sounding. So I found the sweet spot with that knob is 1 o'clock. You get that more modern voicing with the amplifier and a little more edge to it as well, and that's about as edgy as I'd like to push that amp with that knob, because again, if you go past 1 o'clock, it can get a little out of control. So I really like it where it's at right now. All right, so now let's turn the Grid Slammer back off, and let's switch to channel 2 on the Redseven and channel 3 on the Mezzabarba. Now, channel 3 on the Mezzabarba has a little more mids and a little more gain, and channel 2 on the Redseven is voiced completely different from channel 1. It's just a completely different sounding channel, voiced way differently, a lot more gain, and just has a, yeah, let's just hear it. Let's just hear how they both compare now. All right, so there's a huge difference between these channels here. With the Mezzabarba Trinity, you're still getting that softer, thicker top end. And with the Redseven, it's a lot tighter. I mean, way tighter. Again, the boost is off, so there's no overdrive pedal engaged at all. And the Redseven is definitely much tighter, more responsive, and edgier. And I mean, I got the gain at like 10 o'clock. There's plenty of headroom on that gain, and it just has a ton of gain. So it's a really, really high gain channel, really aggressive, you know. So let's do one more riff between them. Again, the boost is off, and let's just see how they sound. Yeah, that pretty much confirmed it. I'm sticking by my first impressions between these two channels here. The Redseven is definitely tighter, more aggressive, and the Mezzabarba is a little looser. It's not flubby, it's just not as tight, you know? But I don't care, because I boost all my amps, so I don't give a shit. But I'm just telling you what I'm experiencing here. And the top end on the Mezzabarba is a little softer and a little thicker. So again, depends on what you want. But anyways, let's go ahead and engage the boost now. All right. And let's see how both of these channels compare with the boost on. Okay, so both of them got pretty aggressive and gnarly with the boost on. Now I will say that channel 2 on the Redseven was like insane with the boost on. Let me see what I got going on here. Let me bass. You know, let me mess with the Redseven and adjust it to this boost, and maybe, you know what? The Grid Slammer's pretty damn aggressive. Let's switch to the Mud Killer and see how that sounds on the Redseven real quick. Man, that's just a nasty freaking channel. Let's try, you know what? Let's try the Odd Box. I'll have it on the US mode, which is a little mellower. There you go. So that's why I always tell people, like, get different pedals, because you never know which pedal's going to bond with the amp, you know, the best until you try a bunch. And a lot of people stick with one pedal and then they buy a new amp and they're like, this amp sucks. And it's like, well, maybe it's not your amp. Maybe you just need to get a new pedal that pairs with the amp better, because the Grid Slammer is great, but man, it was a little much with the Redseven. I have to admit, it's a little much, but with the Odd Box in the US mode, which is the mellower mode, it's pretty much perfect. But let me try one more thing. Let's take the grid slammer and turn the tone knob down to 1 o'clock and see if that fixes things. Because that tone knob really adds a lot of aggression to that pedal. Yeah, that evened things out a little bit. You know, I've been battling in my mind, like, do I leave all this content in the video? Yeah, why not? I mean, you guys, hopefully people that are watching will pick up something from me doing all this stuff, you know, and that's really what it's about. I mean, I'm trying to just show you all the stuff that I can while I'm doing these shootouts and stuff, and a little bit of behind the scenes stuff, what doesn't hurt. So, yeah, because Channel 2 on the Redseven is so damn aggressive. I mean, you got to be careful how you boost it. I'm not saying you shouldn't boost it. I'm just saying that it's super aggressive, so you might want to stick with a milder pedal or milder settings on one of your pedals that will, you know, pair with that particular channel a little bit better. And it did, because when I first played it with the grid slammer in its previous settings with the tone knob all the way up, I was like, holy crap, this is like, maybe for a lead channel, great, but it's a little over the top for a rhythm channel, you know. And so anyways, yeah, I think both of them sound really good. So depending on, you know, what your tastes are and different amplifiers, I mean, I think either one of these amps would work for you. But I think, you know, if you take anything away from this episode, one of the things that I think you should take away from it is, no matter how much you like your boost pedal, when you get a new amplifier or when you're trying out different amplifiers, have a couple boost pedals handy so you can make sure that, you know, it's not the amp that's the problem. It might be the pedal that you're currently using with the amp, because every amp has a different type of aggression, different mids, different top end, different low end. Some are tighter than others. Some of them really like a boost pedal that really tames that low end, and some of them have a lot of that tamed anyways, so that when you boost it with a pedal that really tames a lot of low end, it just chops a lot of the life out of the amplifier, and it just sounds kind of hollow and thin. So you got to be really careful with the pedal and the settings on that pedal with different amplifiers. Well, there you have it. I think that was a pretty good shootout between both of these amps, with and without the boost. And I hope we all learned something today. I know I did, about, you know, the whole boost pedal with different channels, different amps and whatnot, different settings on the pedals, you know, all that kind of stuff. It really does matter. So if you have a really aggressive amp or a channel on an amplifier that's just not jiving with your pedal, try some different settings on your pedal and try maybe a different pedal altogether, and you know, see what works best for you. I mean, that's why I have so many pedals here. It really does make a difference. Anyways, I think both of these amps took a boost very well. I think they sounded good with and without them, depending on your style of playing. Anyways, I think as far as I'm concerned, between these two, I prefer channel 1 on the Redseven with the hot switch on. It's just a more even-keeled channel. I like the way it's voiced, and it just does everything I want it to do. Channel 2, there's times I really love that channel. I could plug into it and really enjoy it. It's madness, you know. It's a lot of crazy gain coming out of that, a lot of aggression, some great edge and articulation. It's also a great channel to blend with other amplifiers in a recording, so I definitely keep that in mind. But between the two channels on that amp, I prefer channel 1, because again, I just think it's got a more likable, familiar type voicing. But like I said, every once in a while, you know, it's nice when you plug in, if you're in the mood for it anyways, you switch to channel 2 and you're like, holy shit, that sounds amazing. It's really aggressive. So I like the way that they built that amp and gave you two options that sound really good. Where with the Mezzabarba Trinity, you have an amazing clean channel, a highly usable channel 2 for low, mid, or high gain stuff, and then of course channel 3 with a little bit more mids and a little bit more gain. It's a perfect lead channel, and it just sounds incredible. So there you have it. There's two really amazing amplifiers for you, so pick the best one that works for you. I'd say if you have the money, buy them both, because they're both amazing amplifiers. So I think I said the word amazing enough in this video, so I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. But anyways, thanks a lot for watching. I really appreciate it. And to all my Patreon supporters and subscribers, I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. And if you want to support the channel, there's a Patreon link below. I also have Sweetwater links if you want to buy stuff for, you know, for yourself. I mean, if you click on those links and get something for yourself, it doesn't cost you anything extra. It just helps me keep the lights on here and continue to do videos for you. And I really appreciate that very much. And I also have a website, so if you want to get some awesome digital platform presets, whether you play, you know, Quad Cortex, KEMPER, or the new ToneX pedal, I have some great presets for all of those, captures, profiles, whatever you want to call them. Go ahead and click on that link, tonewars.com, and get something that sounds really good for any one of those digital platforms as well. All right, so if you're new to the channel and you like what I do here, please subscribe and click the bell so that you can be notified every time I either go live or come out with a new episode. Well, I got a lot of great stuff coming up, and I'll see you on the next one.